Hi guys, welcome back to August Love Story, the channel. My name is Artieka.
And my name is Tommy.
Hi, Tommy.
Hi, Artieka.
Today we are reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode 9. And in my notes, the episode title has been cut off. It says, "Are you going?" I'm trying to pull it up now to get the full name of it. While I'm looking for that, if you guys haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. Turn on the notification bell. And the episode is called "Are You Going to Gaslight Me?"
Are you going?
Well, that's what it said. It just didn't have the whole title.
I got you.
Now I know not to put the title where it says title.
You probably should just put it underneath.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. So least amount to write about probably in this episode was Lindy and Miguel.
Yeah.
Miguel talked to his friend Steve about the housewarming health insurance last name fiasco. Steve feels like, in so many words, he's saying, break up with her.
Yeah. It's like, I don't like it.
I feel like her emotions concerning the health insurance and the last name change were a lot.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't feel like that is a break-upable offense.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
I just feel like there's too many carrots dangling in that conversation that are unnecessarily dangling.
No, I feel the same way. I just don't like how it came out from her, and then her going to, like, almost feeling like she was telling on him to his friends. He won't even give me like insurance, health insurance, but he wants me to take his last name. To his friends, that's like something they don't want you to do, like from the beginning. And
it's confusing. It's upsetting to me and my homegirls. Yeah. It's just confusing. I don't want to give you health insurance because you won't take my last name. And I don't want to take your last name because you won't give me health insurance.
Yeah, it's just an endless circle.
It does not make sense. I don't have strong feelings one way or another on people taking their spouse's last name because it ain't my business.
I think that's a hard thing for him to get over. I don't think that's I'm gonna just bounce back to from it like so easily, just because he's already, or it seems like he's already looking at this whole situation as an 8-week experience, and then I can get back to my normal life because it's just the maturity level that he has to have is not being shown in this situation because of what he's presenting to her is what she wants to hear until they get to decision day. Because like looking at it, I can't physically say, oh, he's kind of like they're in a relationship. They literally look like sexual partners. And nothing stronger than that.
Sexual partners who happen to get their speaking interactions filmed.
Right. And it's they talked about it briefly a little bit, but I didn't really write it down. But they were like, if the feelings wasn't there, that it would just be a countdown to
Decision
day. And for him, or the way it feels like, it's just he's counting down to decision day, but the feelings are there because they have had sex. It's not because he's fallen in love with this girl or anything like that, because she's not like, I think she said it she said it this week, I think, is that she's not being fully herself. She was saying that to the therapist. That Dr. Pia, that she wasn't being herself in this whole thing. So now they've wasted 2-3 weeks.
They're on week 3 now.
At this point, of her just showing a representative and not fully showing herself. So he's, whatever feelings he have been of this representative, and the first sign that she's like nervous or anxious or how she was the other time when she went off on him in the bed, he's like, oh, I don't like that. So she goes back down and kind of don't stand up for herself and stuff like that. So it's I just feel like he's like gonna say no on decision day, and that decision has been made already. He's just kind of like going through the motions, and I feel like he came in the situation thinking that same thing.
He absolutely feels like he came in saying that exact same thing. Speaking of her and her in the bed outburst, today's episode was about love. How to know that you're in love. Have you ever been in love? And that was one of the things that she said, was that she's like 8 months is like her sweet spot.
Yeah.
Of feeling like she's seen people through all the seasons. So you've seen them upset, you've seen them happy and joyful, you've seen sorrow and things like that. And she's like, I want my husband to be able to experience me in all those ways, which I get. You don't want the first time that you have an irrational moment for the person that you're with to run. However, how many irrational moments are you going to have?
Right.
Like that I don't like. You have, in marriage, you learn to accept that people are going to have those irrational moments.
Yeah.
But it's harder when you've known a person for 21 days.
Right.
And the irrational moment is just like glaring in your face. And if you're looking for it out, that's the easy.
It's a tough situation dealing with any irrational moment in the moment.
Right.
Afterwards it's always I kind of overreacted, or I did this, or I could have did this better and stuff like that. But in the moment, it's always a tough situation. No matter if I've known you 20 days or 20 years, it's just it's just in that moment.
And sometimes
situation.
You are the irrational moment.
Right.
I don't mean like in a relationship, but just like things happening around you, and you're just like,
Right.
Gotta get this out.
I think that part led to them talking about keeping score. And
he is.
Yeah, like, and the thing is, his whole point was, well, how long before enough is enough? And her point was, it's situational. Or it's objective, I think. Anyway, but it's very situational for like her to tell. Like, it's no you do this 10 times and I'm out, And
that's most people.
Yeah.
It's kind of like his way of thinking about it, saying that there's 10 strikes. It's kind of like saying, when did your cat pee?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just like that.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
It's just like that. But like, the only thing I could think of was like, man, you can't, for things to work, you can't say, well, I did this, and you can't go tick for tat. You can't keep score, and you can't bring it up all the time.
Right.
And I feel, and those are the things that are telling me like he's not in this for the right reasons. And this girl is going to, she kept saying she respects him and stuff like that. And I get it. You can respect a person, but like, don't lose yourself in that situation. And he's being allowed to, I don't want to say manipulate her, but in a sense of it could be a form of manipulation. Knowing that he has some type of control over the way she would move.
Right.
And stuff like that with the intent to say no on decision day. You know, so.
Her grace is a bottomless pit. It's a reserve.
His is like, you only got 3 times.
Got a little shot glass of grace. And you might be taking it to the head right now.
Right.
Did you have anything else for them?
Nah.
Let's see. Morgan and Ben. So they went and had mermaid lessons. I was like, I don't understand.
Just something different to do.
No, I was just like, what is the lesson here?
I don't know.
The instructor didn't do anything.
They just kind of like dressed up and played in the pool.
Literally, that's what it was. It was just like, what is this instructor doing? She's like, feel like a mermaid. And then she just sits over there on the side.
And watches them like a lifeguard.
So everybody got this box to talk about love. And he talks about, he tells her that he's never been in love. And he tells her about the person that he felt like was the one that he should have loved, but he didn't. And he was like, so many things were happening in his life. It was really pretty much easy to let that situation go. And I get that because when your life gets overwhelming, there's set things that you have to focus on. And then there's things that you can just be like,
I'll let it go.
And he was like, during that time was when his dad had a heart attack. I can't remember what else he said. He named like 2 or 3 other things that were happening. He was just like, I just did not have the capacity for that. I get it. It sucks, but I get it. He says that he also realized that he was projecting his daddy issues onto her, and he apologized about that. She basically told him that she felt like she was never going to meet his standards. And then they talked about their issues with racism growing up. Like, that's how he became a people pleaser, because he was like, I was looked at as different growing up. So then I was like, I got to be everybody's friend. And that kind of explains the like plastered smile on his face. Like, he's always smiling, and he's like in conversation. And one of my cousins actually told me that this was a trick that he used when he used to sell meat. Like, he would just literally ride around neighborhoods, catch people outside, and sell meat out of the back of a truck. He was like, when people are talking to you, if you just start smiling and shake your head yes, they eventually start saying yes. And so, like, when I thought back about being a people pleaser, I'm like, that makes sense. He's like, he's always in a smiling, so he's always in agreeable mode, so that like, I agree with you, so you're gonna agree with me, right? That's what he's doing. It's interesting though that he says he's a people pleaser, and I noted that he also attached himself to the other people pleaser, Justin. So it's like, are they sitting up plotting and planning on how they gonna please the group?
That's funny.
But that was an interesting like point that he made. I still feel like Ben is being more vulnerable with her as of now than she is with him. I still don't know that she's going to bring her guard down. He's like just doing everything that he can. And I don't know that she's meeting him there. I know they cut out a lot of stuff.
It doesn't look like it.
It does not.
Because when she talks to him, she listens a lot to the stories and stuff. And then she just briefly talks about her situation because she was like, yeah, I was like that too until I stopped. Something about her dad. Like she stopped letting her dad in or moved away from her dad or something like that. She was
just like her dad was the person that she felt like treated her like she wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So she was like, when I let that go, I was good.
Right. So it's kind of like, you know, you want to kind of dig deeper into that or whatnot and everything like that. So it just feels one-sided a lot with them. And Morgan is, I don't want to say she's looking for a fight with him, but I do want to say she's more so of, I don't want to do this with you because of how you made me feel 2 weeks ago.
I'm a nurse. I almost got my bachelor's. Stop disrespecting
me. Right, type of deal. And, you know, the thing about her saying like she'll never meet his standards, that's true, but she has to be a reason why he would adjust his standards, like in this situation, because you like going into a marriage, you can't be so strict on one thing. Like things have to be flexible. You know what I'm saying? Because especially as going into it, not knowing your person, it's like now you have to adjust to your person and they have to adjust to you. But if one person is only doing the adjusting, at some point it's going to stop.
Right.
You know, and then you guys both are going to be looking at each other like this is not working, where it could have if one person would have done something and then versus the other person doing something else. I really didn't have a lot to say about them just because I don't know. You know, they really didn't have a lot going on except towards the end when Morgan left. When she was like, I talked to Alexis and she told me everything and was like, he's just been sitting up here dogging me and stuff like that. And I'm like, they didn't say what he said, but I'm curious to see next week's episode to see what he was saying.
2 episodes before we find out what happened.
They probably won't, but I don't know.
And then it's going to probably be something like he said it in Mexico and Alexis just starting stuff.
Yeah. And Alexis is just now talking to her about it.
Yeah.
Quit bringing up old stuff.
Speaking of, let's just go over to Justin and Alexis.
I didn't write a lot of stuff about them.
I didn't either. That's why they're next. We, for some reason, talked about Justin losing his virginity at 20. I don't really remember why that came up.
She said late bloomer.
I don't really remember why that came up.
Yeah.
He says that he's a yes man.
They was talking about love.
Yeah,
and
but
that's what it was. His ex-girlfriend was his first.
The one he was engaged to?
Yeah, and he was like, I was in love with her, or I thought it was love because it was his first.
Makes sense. So he says that he's been a yes man, and they start talking about his people pleasing. His people pleasing, of course, again, daddy issues. He said his dad was in and out of his life, and he was always trying to do things to make his dad happy or make his dad proud. He then asked her, how much does she love him? And she said, I'm uncomfortable having this conversation.
I was like, he's always set himself up.
But I don't understand how you say you love me and you're uncomfortable answering the question.
Because, like she said last time, she said she has love for him. But she's not in love with him.
But I don't think that should be an uncomfortable conversation to have, because she could have just repeated that statement.
Yeah.
And that's not uncomfortable.
But I still feel like he just be walking into that wall just because it's like, you have to understand that a part of that I love you is because you said I love you.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
And I think he understands that because on the after party, he was just like, I was going to love whoever I got.
Yeah.
Like I was committed to that part. So he knows the role that he plays in this issue. Because I don't know if that's hindsight being 2020.
Yeah.
Like,
it has to be.
I messed up. I said I love you. She didn't really, like, there was no reason for me to say it, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But she also has to own the fact that she said it back to him. And with her saying it back to him, it's not out of the realm of possibilities that he's going to ask her a question, a follow-up question.
And then that's an awkward question anyway. How much do you love me? How do you express that?
I would have been like, I can't measure love.
Yeah.
But that would have been an answer, not I'm uncomfortable.
Is it this much? Is it this much?
But you see what I mean? Like, there's a way to respond outside of I'm uncomfortable.
Be like, bro, I don't even know you that well. I love you enough. He looked like he was gonna cry after that too.
Justin feels his feelings. He sits in them. He rests in them, and he
sits in that pocket.
He is not. He's not okay with sharing.
Yeah,
like he got to get it out. Since
we're talking about sharing, I just want to mention, I like your little braids hanging out the little turban and stuff.
Thank you.
Looks nice. You cute.
It's very awkward.
I know. I'm just sitting up here looking at it. I was like,
I mean, you know what my hair looks like under here too.
I do.
You know why it's covered as well.
I was like, oh, okay, that was cute.
This is to get me to a hairstyle.
I was like, that was intentional.
For when we go on a date.
Yeah. I was like, that was intentional.
Very much so. Just got to get, boop, boop. Just got this hair has to make it to the date.
Yeah, I got you.
So they go to the beach and they talk about what he feels about being a good husband. And
Alexis,
she asked him to take marriage off of the table and asked if he would still date her. And he said yes.
She was like,
he flipped it and
absolutely.
She was like, nah.
I'd have been gone. Your dog bit my dog. I'm out.
I need Jackie to make sure she sees this. Did you know that Maya bit Newton? Newton got bit by Maya. Like that was a running joke last week.
Yeah.
But she's not gonna get past that. When Newton dies, she gonna be like, my ex-husband dog attacked Newton. And you know, that was the beginning of the end.
Yep. We know it.
Like that's how the conversations are gonna go. She's not gonna let that attack go. And I mean, I get it. It's still fresh because it happened less than a week ago.
Yeah.
Or right at a week ago. However, we gotta have something more than I gotta run because your dog attacked my dog because he didn't attack your dog. And you can't tell a dog not to attack.
Yeah. Man, let me ask you this. Did you understand what he was saying to Dr. Pia in the group?
I don't
because
think so.
I felt like and I'm sorry for just skipping ahead because I didn't have anything else to add to.
No, you're fine. No, I started writing something and then I was like, what is he talking about? And then I erased it all.
Yeah, like what he was saying, it didn't make sense to me.
What did you get? Because I don't remember.
He basically was saying, paraphrasing, or what I thought he was saying, is that...
Wait, before you start. Is this going to be like Herschel Walker?
Oh, my God. Absolutely. I hope not.
Okay, well, go ahead.
They got to buy grocery.
It's sad to be a Georgian right now.
The
with
internet
this.
does always wins.
They do. It's sad to be a Georgian if that's who's in the forefront.
Yeah. Anyway, and he's winning. They said
that's what I'm saying. That's the sad part about being a Georgian.
Anyway,
I'm sorry, I threw you completely out.
You did.
Justin said Dr. Pia.
Dr. Pia and Justin and Alexis. No, Justin was just like running off at the mouth, man. I felt like he just was just sitting up there talking, and then like something I be doing sometimes. You just be sitting up there talking, trying to catch what he trying to say. You're like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's where I was going with that.
Got it.
Yeah, trying to make sure if somebody step in and say, okay, I see where you're going with that. Well, most of the time you're like, I didn't see where I was going with that. But I feel like what he was saying was that him and Alexis are doing good. He likes Alexis. He wants the love from Alexis, but he's not sure on Alexis liking him. But he said a bunch more words. And at that point, I had drowned him out. But Alexis was like, you're lying. Like, basically, like she didn't say he was lying, but she basically was like, she doesn't believe anything he's saying and stuff. And I think they got a lot of work to do to get on the same. I think it's because they're not on the same page and not in the same, going in the same direction in their relationship. Because I think what it is Justin is now seeing that it's not all peaches and cream and stuff like that. And Alexis is like, but you're messing up. You're not doing certain things that I want you to do. And she's not enjoying it. On this other side of it, from the beginning, she's not that into him.
Correct.
And I think that's having something to do with the way that she's responding to him. Now they've gotten to a place where it's comfortable for her to say the inside thoughts out, you know? And I think that's a step. I don't know if it's a step in the right direction or the wrong direction, but that's definitely a step. But he has to come off of this cloud and start honestly being more real to himself and to her, you know. But yeah, what he was talking about, I have no clue. Absolutely no clue.
Women gotta buy grocery. I don't have anything else for them. Would you like to do Stasha and Nate or Kristen and Mitch?
Either or, man. I don't either. Don't mind.
So we opened Kristen and Mitch with Luna humping the bed.
I mean, she was getting down. Like, I was like, man, you put that work in, dude.
That's how you felt?
I hope you get it off.
So Mitch tells Kristen that he got a new position at work, and they start talking about life goals. And she said that at some point she wants to get into flipping houses.
He was like, that's what the rich do. Like, I don't have a problem with the way he thinks about social justice and stuff like that, right?
Right. Part of what he said is the absolute reason that it took so much for us to purchase a home. Literally, we were getting beat out by corporations left and right.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that that's the path that she's taking.
I don't think that's what she was thinking about.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that that's the path that she's talking about taking. I don't think that she's like, I want to do this as, like, I don't want to become a monster in the house flipping game.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do this as I don't want to call it a passion project, but like, I like decorating.
No, she wants to do that as a career, is what she was saying, as a real business. But I'm torn between, because I understand both sides, because like, I've seen both sides. I have a friend who basically bought a house, flipped it, bought another house, flipped it, and started buying, or like start partnering with people, start buying more houses.
And now he's got like a lot of homes. But all of the homes that he's purchased are not flips necessarily.
No, some of them are rentals, you know? And I'm like, that's not a bad move.
No, it's not a bad move. But I also think that he's taking the approach of buying homes, because I've seen some of the stuff that he's done. Some of those houses are like, nobody would have ever wanted to live in this. He's not flipping this house and turning the profit so high that a family can't come in. He's making it inhabitable for a family.
Right. But it's like, man, you think about, basically, first off, to get back to the episode, her saying, I want to buy and sell houses, and his first reaction was to be a negative thing. But they're talking about her dream thing. Basically makes it where she doesn't want to tell him anything, you know, because this is the second time he's done it now. She started talking about her boyfriend or her ex-boyfriend and what happened, and he was like, "Oh, that's weird."
Well, he wasn't talking about this weird about.
Well, he's talking about a situation that she like
the
calling it,
or not honeymoon, the wedding,
calling it a wedding, and he was like, "Oh, that's weird." Like, having the wrong response in a time that she's sharing something is going to cause her to stop sharing. He's
like Kevin Hart with Don Cheadle. Damn.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's it. That's exactly.
Sorry.
That's perfect.
I'm sorry.
You know, that's perfect to what was going on. But for her, it's like, oh, that's a nice dream of mine, to be able to go in, buy a home, do some work to it, and flip it for profit. And the only thing you can say is, I don't like that idea. Just because, you know, of whatever reason, like corporations are coming in and doing that, which I get, you know, because it did happen to us. But it's like, at what point do you, how do you balance it? Because at some point you have to balance it, because I have never seen a person who dreamed and their dream was mediocre.
Right.
We're just talking about dreams now. So it's like, first off, and this is a side note, as a Black male growing up in America, we're not really taught to dream. We're not told to say, hey, man, anything's possible for you if you dream it. Well, at least I wasn't.
That's why representation matters. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole different day.
But that's where I felt like, you know, Mitch was taking the conversation, not just talking about one set of people, but talking about a group of people. But it's like, why is it not okay for anybody to dream big? And the way that they have to get there, it may put somebody else off. Like, if me and you are competing, I want you to lose because I want to win. Is that necessarily a bad thing? Or how do we both win in a situation like that?
It's a bad thing if you want me to lose so that you can win. But
is it? I always compare it to,
I'm
like,
saying
sports.
In a marriage.
Oh, yeah. Like, if I win, you win. If you win, I win.
That's what I'm saying. In a marriage, though, I'm saying, like, it's a bad thing if you're saying that if you win, I lose.
But that's not what I'm saying.
No, I know that's not what you're saying. But I'm saying, for him, he's talking to his wife.
Yeah.
And so I'm putting it in that context.
Gotcha.
him saying that, and then he keeps coming back to it because he keeps circling back around to it. He circled back around to it.
He's driving his point.
Yeah, he was like, hey, and another thing, let me tell you also why that's a bad idea. I don't think that he has come up with a way to resolve in his mind that people that flip homes are okay.
Yeah.
Because he automatically takes it large scale.
And I thought it's the idea that one group of people are flipping homes and everybody else didn't have that same sense of regard, or everybody didn't have the same way to get into the game. You know,
and it's true, they don't,
and it's definitely true. But now that the knowledge is out there, more people are able to get into the game a little bit better. It's just being able to say, "Hey, this is what I want to do, and this is what I need to do to get there. This is my timeline." And we're not taught as people to do it that way,
right?
And I'm not just generalizing as Black people. But as Americans, we're not taught to break it down in that situation. Like it makes sense to do, but we as Americans don't always do it that way. You know, you can kind of tell it by what is shown on like what we consume. You know, we're always shown like luxury items and making big purchases and, oh, I want to purchase this, I want to purchase that. But we're not shown those things like, okay, this person is flipping. Or if we do watch, this is random. If we watch HGTV or somebody flipping a home, they have $1 million budget and it's like, how did
fun fact, I used to intern at HGTV.
Yeah, I know.
That was fun.
But anyway,
no, I get it. I completely understand. There has to be a way that he can rationalize some of this in his mind to make Kristen not be a bad person for having this goal.
Yeah. Because he even said the dumbest thing I ever heard of in my life.
What was it?
He was like, I fight for all these things and I shouldn't have a huge house. Well, why not?
Because he doesn't look, first off, he's not going to have the money. And that's not me calling Mitch broke. That's Mitch calling himself a person who's not going to make a lot of money. Yeah. Mitch is a just enougher. I need just enough house. I need just enough. Like, I'm going to fill it up because he's obviously
he's like a hoarder.
Yeah. I'm going to fill up the space. Yeah. But I just need just enough space for me. That's it.
I don't look at it that way, man. And I think that's what was so hard for me hearing that is because what I figured out is the best way for me to be a positive example is to do the things that I dream about, to do the things that I talk about. And it's not for me, it's not for you, but it's for the next generation of people that we create, and including our nieces and nephews, and including our little cousins, and of course our children. But we have to be that type of example for them. So once they get into our position, they know this is what my parents did, or this is what my uncle and aunt did, or this is what my cousin did. And they can now see life without the hurdle that we had. And that's the tough part about life, because it's like you're going to be thrown everything.
Right.
Because life doesn't care. Right. Life is just this entity that you live. But if you have that tools or the tools in you to actually be prepared for life, you can kind of dodge a lot of those hurdles that are thrown. Those speed bumps aren't so big, you know. Those setbacks aren't so big because they're going to happen.
Right.
But it's all in the preparation. and a child can't prepare the first 18 years of their life. It's up to the parents to prepare. And the best way to prepare is to show them what's going on. So once they get in these shoes, they're not, oh, this is the first time I ever had to deal with this.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mitch is like, just listening to him in this episode sparked a bunch of things that I think about outside of like everything else. Like, why of doing things is so my next generation of us can be prepared for things that I wasn't prepared for, things that I just had to run into. I opened the door for them, So anyway, Mitch got on my nerves this episode too. So
going back to the episode, they talk about love, and Kristen tells him that all of her relationships have ended not just badly, but catastrophically. I think a lot of it is Kristen is also a person that misses red flags. And
I think she's only missing the ones in this one because of marriage.
Well, I'm saying the ex-boyfriend, you met him sleeping on somebody's couch. You had to buy your own ring. Like, you missed some red flags. And I think that she's missing them for the sake of having someone, being in love, things like that.
Yeah.
Mitch also told us that his parents' marriage ended badly and he doesn't want to end up like that. She did tell him in that same conversation that she felt like him brushing off her, talking about her dream of flipping homes was like rude, and he apologized for it. They go do karaoke. Mitch was rapping. Kristen was doing a butterfly.
Well, that's what she was doing.
In there.
I was trying to figure it out, man. I was like, okay.
And D was going in.
All
right. She says that she was surprised at how fun he is. I too was surprised that Mitch had that in him.
Yeah.
So then they get back. He got to drive this point home about this flipping houses, and he basically told her that that it didn't feel like she was authentic. And she was like, "What you're not going to do is gaslight me.
Yeah,
like we're not about to do that. You don't get to say that I'm inauthentic because of your belief system." Yeah. It seems like they hashed it out. They go do beach cleanup. We got to bring it up again. We got to talk about karaoke night, and I don't want you to, she says basically, I don't want to resent you because you're trying to generalize me, and I'm going to take it out on you because you're making these generalizations about me and my intentions.
Yeah.
Kristen is losing herself in this relationship. Yeah. She mentions that with Dr. Pia. She's mentioned that with her friends. He is definitely forceful in driving home how he feels. And there's absolutely nothing that she can do about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate that for her. Because she's one just like Justin, who was like, I'm going to make this work with anybody. If it doesn't work, it's because of you.
Yeah.
It's just hard to watch.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because like
Shirtgate was hard to watch.
Shirtgate was just ridiculous. So all the girls bought the guys the same shirt, which I said, Tommy wants me and his friends' wives to do this for some reason. Like, now that he knows that it's a thing.
No, I've seen it before, and I just find it to be hilarious that somebody would put that much thought into something and like they didn't know. Now I would be like, if you showed up to me and be like, here, I bought you a shirt. And we out with people or we're going out to meet somebody, I will automatically think that person is going to wear the same shirt too.
I'm crafty.
But I would participate.
But I'm crafty.
Okay.
I would make it so that you would forget that this ever happened, so that when it comes up,
we got it on film. I'll watch it back. I'll watch the tape.
You will forget it before the moment. Like you remember it once you got there and you see everybody in the same shirt. But
and I laugh. I think it's funny. It's endearing.
Wait, it's hilarious. Like I've seen it happen with guys on a resort.
Yeah. That's the funny part.
Yeah. The thing with that is that I don't think that we would have to force you or your friends to dress alike.
No.
Even on a let's be funny situation.
Yeah.
I could literally be like, we're going to buy them all the same shirt and tell them. And y'all would still be like, so we wearing these Tuesday?
Right.
Or Wednesday?
Exactly.
Wednesday, is this for dinner or is this for like all day?
And the first thing we'll say was, like your shirt.
Right. It would be
like
that type of...
we didn't know we all had the same shirt.
Exactly. It would be that type of situation. But that's the fun of you and your friends.
Yeah. And I think that's what bothered me the most about Mitch is because first off, it's just a shirt. Mm-hmm. You know. Secondly, it's a thought behind it. You
Mitch
know
was
what?
Like, don't get this confused.
Right. He was like,
cool.
He was like, it's a control thing. And I was like, I see your point, Mitch, but it's not that deep.
But I don't think she's not controlling what you wear. She was literally like, it would be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Ha, ha, ha. And he's like, that's not who I am. The buttons are small.
I was like, dude, it's a shirt.
What?
It's a shirt. She could be improving the way you dress.
She was literally just trying to make a funny moment with the other girls. And now you look like the jerk who just can't take a joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's essentially what it is. You can't take a joke. Like,
all the other guys were like cool with it. They laugh. Oh, okay. You know, and then
Miguel walked in and was like,
he didn't even notice it at first.
And when they mentioned, he was like, what?
Yeah, right. Like it's for most men, it wouldn't be a big deal.
And especially because they weren't going to do anything like public.
Right. They just went to a therapy session.
Right. But they were the only ones there.
And it's, you know, it kind of made me sad for Kristen because it's like at this point, what do you do? Because obviously he's not thinking about her in the situation. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously it's a me type of deal for her. And I see why her voice is not being heard in this relationship. She's losing herself in it because he's such strong-minded that a shirt, this is the second time we've heard him talk about a shirt not being, not him not wanting. Oh, yeah,
the hubby shirt.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's a shirt.
Right.
Like, just wear it. If your wife wants you to, sometimes you have to compromise. That's an easy one.
What did he say? Like, I only wear things that I feel like wearing.
I don't know. Like, I was just like, this is the dumbest argument that you can possibly make up. And you're mitching this thing. Mm-hmm. She's liking you because you've made an effort past, I don't think you're pretty. Mm-hmm. Now I think you're pretty and you're letting me do you. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to wear this shirt. Well, it's the small things that matters, man. If you do a bunch of small things, they turn into big things.
It's just so hard with this shirt. And then it's like, I'm going to take off the shirt. Because I did it for the joke and it's over now. And I'm like, do you think you look better now with this t-shirt on than you did with that shirt?
So he's mitching this thing up.
So last but not least is Stasha and Nate. I don't know why their names weren't coming out because my thing kept auto-correcting her name to Stacy.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, who is Stacy?
It ain't Stacy Dash.
Stacy?
Stacy Dash. That's why I'm struggling to say her name.
I don't know who didn't know DMX had died.
Stacy Dash.
Still trying to figure that out.
I need to watch that video.
No, you don't.
I want to.
You don't need to watch. You might want to, but you don't need to. So Stasha and Nate have their love box at the pool. And he said that he's 4 out of 10 on the love scale. And she said she's 8 out of 10. And I was like, I don't know what any of this means.
Yeah.
As Alexa says, I'm uncomfortable talking about this.
That bothered her though.
It did. She said that Pastor Cal told them that love is more of a commitment than a feeling. And so when I think about you hearing love is a commitment and not a feeling, and someone tells you that their love is 4 out of 10, you're thinking, they're not committed to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so when that's what you hear, I get why your feelings are hurt. However, that's not what he said.
I was wondering why she was driving home this love thing. That makes sense now. Yeah,
when what you hear is you're only 40% committed to me.
Yeah.
Then I'm in my feelings.
Yeah. But
that's not what Nate said.
Yeah.
That's just what she heard and internalized, because she's taking Pastor Cal's, it's a commitment, not a feeling.
Yeah.
And I think what Pastor Cal said, if I'm not mistaken, was for some people it's a commitment and for others it's a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's taking the commitment route and he's taking the feeling route.
Yeah.
And those two things are not the same. He shared that the last time that he was in love was when he was in high school. It's interesting to me because when I look back over my 35 years to my quote unquote first love, it's definitely different than love today.
Yeah.
And because he has not experienced love in adulthood, I feel like that also puts him in a different situation where his 40% makes a little bit more sense as well. Let's see. He tells her that he wants her to he's like, they need to experience more things together. He was like, you need to know what my favorite candy bar is. How are we going to act when we're drunk together?
Yeah.
And I was like, that is very important to know, because if you are with someone who is a drinker, you need to know how drinking goes.
Yeah.
Like, you're funny when you're drinking until you're not. And when you're not is usually because you've gotten sick.
Or fall asleep.
Yeah, I don't care when you fall asleep. Like, that part doesn't matter to me. But like, I look at other people I know, like my brother, for example. I could never be married to someone that's like my brother when they drink.
Yeah.
Not because he's like, he gets annoying to me. And that's just a me thing, but it's probably because I'm his sister, because he dates women who aren't annoyed by it. And, you know, it works out for, I keep hitting this mic stand. It works out for them, but it would annoy me.
Yeah.
So I guess you have to figure out, can you deal with this? And thankfully I can.
Mm-hmm.
But you also don't drink a lot. So it is what it is.
I don't drink to excess either.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, like, you don't drink a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Boy, it be them days, though, boy. I be like, man, let me get a glass of whiskey. Just one glass. That'll set me straight. I'm going to sit out here on this porch.
We're going to have our whiskey tasting.
Yeah.
Soon enough.
That's funny.
So they go back inside and they pick up this conversation, and Stasha does tell him that she wants to have measurable goals in their relationship. I think that that's great to want to have measurable goals. However, I don't think that you can measure love.
Yeah.
So that kind of needs to be taken off the table.
Like, we're also talking about a group of people who went on the show and got married to a stranger.
Mm-hmm. And are wanting this stranger to be in love with them
immediately
at 21 days.
Yeah. So it's like, in that whole system of thought process is flawed in a way. Not saying that you can't find love at first sight and stuff like that, but the odds of that happening to somebody that you immediately married to and already have this stipulation of marriage on top of getting to know a person, it makes it, and with cameras and everything else, so now you have to decipher what type of person are they presenting. Mm-hmm. And so for her to drive home this wanting measurable goals, do you love me? Like the simple conversation for her to have with him and not bring it up is, how do we move forward? Mm-hmm. What does moving forward look like? Because if at the end of the 8 weeks, he's like, I'm not in love with you, but you guys are on a path of love, mm-hmm. why would you say no to that? Why would you cut that off?
And my thing is that a person can tell you that they love you and that they're in love with you, and they absolutely don't mean it. So
how would you even know? You know what I'm saying? Like,
how would they know?
Yeah. So it was like, I was like watching it. I was like, you got to let it go. Mm-hmm. He said 4 out of 10. And he said he's committed to what you guys got. You have to cling on to his I'm committed. Mm-hmm. You can ask, what does the commitment look like? If he say, hey, we just need to experience more. Like, he was like, I need to know how you do this. I need to know how you do that, and, stuff like that. The only way you get to know those things is by doing, mm-hmm. not by talking about. And that's what I feel like they're missing in the situation, is experiencing each other. Like, immediately they talk about sex. Immediately they talk about kids. Talk about the things you want to do. Mm-hmm. Talk about the places you've been, the places you haven't been.
The goals, the aspirations, right. The dreams. And then I remember around my 25th birthday, because I turned 25 living here. Yeah. I made a vow to myself that I would spend less money on things and more money on experiences, because you're always going to have those memories and they need to experience the things. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that they need to spend money on the things.
Right, no.
But this is, number one, an experience that they'll never forget. Mm-hmm. Number two, it's documented.
Right.
So seize the day. Oh. Go out and do some crazy stuff that you've always wanted to do together, because that will essentially bond you guys.
And that's the thing. It's like they're so focused on 8 weeks of falling in love that they're not focused on actually getting to know a person, how to get to know a person. Mm-hmm. Because the best way to get to know a person is experiencing that person mm-hmm. in their atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like, if he likes video games, go play a video game with him, or get him, show something that he likes. If she likes, for instance, she decorated her house, right? Mm-hmm. Talk to her about those things. Mm-hmm. Those are, for me, those are things that shows you're interested in something that I do.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I know that you're a thrill seeker. I'm not afraid of roller coasters. Not really my thing. But we got a Six Flags membership because you like to ride roller coasters. Like, okay, we'll go ride roller coasters together.
I'd be like, wee.
And it's like, it's the little things with that, because I've been to Six Flags a lot of times before getting with you, but I can say I never rode the Batman backwards until I was in a relationship with you. So it's like, it's an experience.
And then like, this is the funniest thing. What's the one thing I won't ride at an amusement park?
Oh, things that go in circles.
Yeah. But then it's like just things like that. It's because of experience. And then it brought up different conversations because we were able to have a conversation as to why I don't like to ride things that go in a circle.
And why I won't ride that little short roller coaster.
Right. You know? And so that's the part of having the experience and getting to know a person and moving his number from 4 to a 10.
Mm-hmm.
Because ultimately that's where you want to be. And her being at an 8, you can't expect him to be at the same place.
Mm-mm.
And you can't think of it as being your job to get him at the same place. It's just the experience of each other have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like she got to a point to where I think they was at the therapy session where she just named off all the negative traits that you possibly could name off for their marriage and expected him to be okay with it.
And he was just like, WTF.
Right.
And she was like, I wasn't looking at it like these things are currently happening. I was looking at it like, we have a therapist here. Let's talk about it. And he like, don't embarrass me.
Right. And that was the thing. He was embarrassed and he was shocked by her. Like, that's what she's going to say to the group. And because he's thinking, oh, we're fine. Mm-hmm. It's some things we have to work on, but ultimately we're fine.
The things we have to work on are going to take time to work on because we don't know each other.
Right.
He told her that he looked at what she's doing as a form of manipulation. And I don't like that. I don't do ultimatums because he said he had an ex-girlfriend that did a lot of ultimatums. And he's like, basically, you're triggering me.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling like I'm back with her again. And I don't like that version of myself. But after they sat down and talked after the activity with Dr. Pia, he was basically like, these issues are yours. It's nothing that I am doing that is not making you feel secure or whatever it may be. It's a you thing. You need to get through that.
Right.
Like, figure it out.
I feel like that was one of the most mature, because we always talk about how immature he seems. Mm-hmm. I think that was one of the more mature things that he brought up to her, because that took some maturity to realize. Mm-hmm. Because, for instance, if it was Justin would continue to adjust. But he was like, nah, there's no adjusting for me, because I told you what it is. I told you that I'm committed to what we're doing to our relationship. Mm-hmm. We just have to get to know each other. Everything else is on you. Mm-hmm. You have the issue.
Right.
You know, I'm fine with how we are getting to know each other.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like he's like, we're moving too fast. Yeah. Things aren't at the right pace. He's just like, time.
Yeah, like we have 8 weeks, and I'm probably gonna say so we can have more time to spend together. But you know,
it's always interesting when someone proves us. I don't want to say wrong, because he still got time.
He still got plenty of time to mess up.
Right, but it's like it's always refreshing when you have someone like Woody who starts this process off, and you're like, nah. And then at the ending of it, you're looking at them like, oh
man,
I enjoy you two together.
Right.
So it's definitely a thing, and it is Stasha's thing that she's going to have to work through. I don't know that there is anything that he can do to reassure her because he's not saying I'm out. He's literally saying I'm in. I just need more time than you needed because you was like.
How much do you think it is Stasha's time clock?
90% of it is her biological.
That's what it is. That's her biological clock.
The biological clock is related to, in my mind, because we make up these things in our minds where we need to be married by 30. Mm-hmm. We need to have all of our kids by 40 so we can retire by 60. And that's just really not how life works for everybody. It's really weird because like the do these things by 30 clock never hit me. Mm-hmm. I was just like, oh, I'm 30. I was up here like Jay-Z said 20's the new 30. Was it Jay-Z? Somebody said it. It was Jay-Z. Yeah. Okay, I have my rappers right.
You did.
It's like 20 is the new 30 or 30 is the new 20.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, if that's 20, I shouldn't have my stuff figured out at 30 because you definitely didn't have it figured out at 20.
You should definitely have something figured out.
No, I'm not. Life is
like a box of chocolates.
Life is a journey and you never know which way you're going to be going. You can always have a plan for where you're going to go.
And then like Mike Tyson said, you get punched in the mouth.
I thought you were about to be like Lee.
What?
And do the voice. Nah. I was bracing myself to be like, you need to edit that out.
I can't do that voice.
But no, it's a journey and it's things that you have to figure out, but it's not going to be figured out at 40 either.
Like it's like it's situational. Life is so situational when it comes to things, and it's like you're not going to figure these things out.
18-year-old you is not going to have the same goals as 40-year-old you or even 25-year-old you.
Yeah,
like it's always an evolution. It's always a change. I look at like
your system is always being upgraded.
Right. I look at people who are like really successful at something and they're like, this is not what I set out to do. At all. Yeah. Like I found success in this, but it took a lot of pivoting from what I thought I was going to do.
Right. And that's most people are like that.
Right.
And so with Stasha, I just feel like she has to let this biological clock go and like be like that was the thing when like right before I got with you. You have to be comfortable with where you are right now. If this was life, you have to be comfortable with that.
There's no sense in being uncomfortable in your own life.
Right. Because if this is the situation, and this is the situation for the rest of your life,
are you okay with it?
Are you okay? You have to be okay with it. And if you're not okay with it, you must change it.
This feels like the closing of a sermon.
It does, doesn't it? I'm sorry. I don't want to be preachy. So I'm done. Stasha, she just needs to get off her high horse.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say it's a high horse. I think she needs to
I don't think it's a high horse.
Reel back the expectations of what she thought it was going to look like. Because
I think she needs to understand that she has time.
Yeah, it never married at first sight, and not even just married at first sight, relationships in general never look like the timeline that you have in your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. None of it.
Right.
Like I'm just sitting here thinking about my life, and I never thought that my 3-year-old would be 3-ing like she is.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It's nothing that I can do to change who she is as a person because that's who she is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stasha's just gonna have to manage her expectations a little bit better.
Oh yeah.
Anywho, that's all I have for them.
That's it for me.
Question for you. How did you like the way that Dr. Pia came in?
I like their group therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a thought on. She was just there, kind of like, I felt like she was just curating.
Yeah, she didn't really offer any advice.
Right.
She was just basically like, hey, here are a range of feelings. Let's feel our feelings.
Yeah.
And let's not have knee-jerk reactions about our feelings, guys. I'm interested to see what Devon Franklin is going to do with them.
That's Megan Good's ex-husband.
Mm-hmm. I hate that that's his title now. I mean, I don't know much about him before Megan.
Yeah. Like, I've had a crush on Megan Good since Cousin Skeeter, so.
Okay.
I was like, man, her and that Gap. And you know how I feel about Gaps.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
That you think her Gap is cute.
I didn't say it was cute.
Oh,
it was just like.
You're able to get past her Gap. Oh, okay. Y'all tell me don't like Gaps. He wants to get braces again because his Gap is coming back.
Yeah. So.
Anywho, like this video, please. Share it with a friend. Tell us what you guys think about Dr. Pia. I wonder if we're going to see her again. Is she going to truly be like Dr. Viviana?
I don't know. Oh, and she was a sex therapist.
That's
too.
why I say it. Because like.
Yeah. Share it, like, comment below so we can have a discussion about this episode.
Yep. Bye, y'all.
Peace.